Hello and welcome to the video, Tapping Away Anxiety Around a Recent Past Event. So this video is designed to release anxiety around fairly recent events that I'm going to say are fairly minor. I mean, they might feel like kind of a big deal at the time, but we're talking like an email that might have upset you, a phone call, an interaction with someone, irritation over someone's behavior, stressed about being late, stressed about paying a bill, something like that. That's in the grand scheme of things minor, even though it's upsetting at the moment. What this video is not single-handedly designed to do is to relieve stress or anxiety or feelings over big, complicated events, such as a divorce, death of a loved one, a job loss, any kind of childhood trauma, any kind of sexual trauma. This is not designed to do that. That is the kind of work I do. That's the kind of work I do one-on-one with people. And if you have any of those situations or anything that feels more complicated than what I'm showing in these videos that you want to unravel, then I would love to offer you a free consultation. That all being said, EFT is fabulous for releasing the minor stresses of our day-to-day life. When we allow those little minor stresses to build up, that's when we're like carrying around this tangled up ball of Christmas lights. And we want to unwind that, unravel that. We want to be more peaceful. We don't want those little things to stress us out so much. So EFT is fabulous for that. I use it all the time in that way, and my clients do too, and it's a real game changer. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First, we're just going to get comfortable in your chair, close your eyes. I'm going to take some deep breaths in and out. And again, in. And while you're taking these deep breaths in and out, notice how your body's feeling. Now, if you've just come from script number 1, the video for script number 1, notice if there's been any change since then, or notice what might be different since you started that script. And if this is your first video for today, notice what's going on. If there's any discomfort, tension, pain, just take note. And then I would love for you to just allow a fairly recent event that is still causing you some stress or anxiety to just float to mind. And give it a name. And well, maybe there's several things that float to mind, but we're going to focus on one. Choose one for now. Give it a name. And then I want you to ask yourself, what emotion does that event bring up? When I think about that event, what happens for me? So the event I chose in the workbook was actually a real event that happened to me maybe 2 months ago. And I'm calling it That Horrible Email, because we've all had that horrible email, right? I figured people could really relate to that. And it was really real for me, and it really came out of left field, and it was like a sucker punch to my gut. And it did make me feel judged, angry, and sad. So I use that as an example. At the time when it happened for me on that day, it was a 10. Now it's a 0 because I really did my tapping work. I really walked my talk, and I sat with this. It took me about a day or two to get over this, but I did get over it pretty fast, even though it really was painful at the time. So you might want to pause this video for a moment and write down the name of your event, the emotion it brings up, and the level of intensity of your emotion. All right. So once you've written it down, we're going to get started. And again, we're going to start by tapping on the side of the hand. That's the fleshy part below the little finger. And just repeat after me. And again, you fill in your own blanks. I'm using my email event and my feelings in my body, but you fill in what's true for you. So just repeat after me. Even though when I think about that horrible email, I feel like I've been punched in the gut. And I feel judged, angry, and sad. And even though all of this is true, I choose to love and accept myself. Even though when I think about that horrible email, I feel it in my gut. And it makes me feel judged, angry, and sad. And I choose to acknowledge these feelings and accept them. Even though when I think about that horrible email, I feel judged, angry, and sad. And I feel it like a sucker punch to my gut. I choose to open to the possibility of releasing this and letting it go. Okay, we're going to move to the head. That horrible email on the eyebrows feels like I was punched in the gut. Side of the eyes. It makes me feel judged, angry, and sad. Under the eyes. It really hurt my feelings. On the upper lip. It came out of left field. On the chin. It makes me feel judged, angry, and sad. On the collarbone. And I feel that judgment, anger, and sadness. I feel it in my gut. It's heavy. I feel judged, angry, and sad. Okay, we're going to move to more positive statements now. I acknowledge and accept all my feelings just as they are. I open to the idea of letting them go. On the side of the eyes. Maybe I don't need to take it so personally. Under the eyes. Maybe that email had more to do with her than it did me. On the upper lip. Maybe she was stressed and hurting too. On the chin. I open to the idea of letting this go. On the collarbone. I would like to release my righteous anger so I can have some peace. I am ready to let this go now. Okay, take a deep breath. And check in with your body. And what do you notice now? What do you notice, in my case, what do you notice about those feelings of judgment, anger, sadness? What do you notice about the feelings you wrote down? What do you notice about the physical feelings in your body? How do you feel about the whole thing? Does it feel a little bit more distant, feel a little less intense? Most people say that if after the first round, that it just feels the whole thing feels a little less important. Maybe it feels a lot less important. So I have a question for you. Are you ready to fully, completely release and let this go? Be honest. If the answer is no, then I suggest that you go back and work with this a little bit more, because we only did a little bit, and it varies so much with clients. Sometimes they just go, other times we have to work at it a lot more before we get a shift. If it's still the same or even more intense, and work with it a little more. If you're feeling like, you know what, this really, whatever it was that you were working with, it's really not that big of a deal. I would like to let this go now. Then you're ready to move on to the next step, which is this, what I call the process for really pulling your energy out of this situation, because our energy is precious, and we don't want to send it on missions that are just going to suck us dry and not make us feel good and make us feel tired and icky and mean and unhappy. And, we just don't want to waste our energy that way. So if you're really feeling ready to pull your energy out of whatever it is that was giving you grief, we're going to do this next process together, and it's super fun. So let's go ahead and close your eyes again and get comfortable in your chair. Take a deep breath in and allow yourself to form a picture of yourself enmeshed in this situation. So for me, I was enmeshed in this horrible email I received. And you can feel what that energy is like. You can feel its pull, even how it, in a way, it's kind of an adrenaline rush. It's kind of, can even be addictive to be pulled into that anger or that sadness or that judgment or whatever it is. Really feel that pull. Now, form a picture of a beautiful place to be. Maybe it's a beautiful beach. Or maybe it's on top of a mountain. Or maybe it's in your backyard. Or maybe it's in your favorite chair. Wherever it is, make sure you feel really safe and happy and comfortable and that the energy's really good there. Now what I'd like you to do is energetically reach into that other picture of that entanglement, that enmeshment, and you're going to energetically pull your energy out of that enmeshment. Just feel the energy coming back into your body, back into you. It's a really empowering feeling. I love doing this when I'm just feeling wound up about something and I can't seem to let it go. I just pull that energy away and pull it back into yourself. Now this, where you are in that beautiful place, that is your truth. That is your true self. And you can pull yourself, your energy of you, back into you. And you can let that enmeshment go. And just imagine that picture of that entanglement just drifting away on the breeze. Maybe make it like a beach ball and it's just going out on the ocean, or it's like a balloon floating away. Bye-bye. We don't need that anymore. And if you're feeling ready, if you're feeling like, yes, I don't want this energy anymore. I don't want to be entangled. I don't want to walk around feeling mad or sad or small or judged or frustrated or stressed. It's not a good feeling. Whatever you are working on, it's just not a good feeling and you don't want it anymore. So we're going to tap that away. So again, on the side of the hand, repeating after me. Even though I was really angry and stressed about this, I choose to let it go now. Even though this little event had me tied in knots, I choose to pull my energy back and let that event go. That event is not worth my personal peace. Even though that event really had me upset, I choose to reach in and pull my energy back into me where it belongs. And I choose to let that go. Okay, the top of the head. I'm letting it go now. It's not important. Nothing is more important than my personal peace. That event really had me tied up in knots. But I choose not to be tied up anymore. I choose to set myself free. I choose to set myself free and let it go. Bye-bye. Adios. Take a deep breath. Now tune in and notice what you're feeling now. So compare your emotions to what you started with. Compare the feeling in your body to what you started with. Also notice, do you have a new perspective on this situation? Are there actions? Are there empowered actions you're willing to take? So in my case, after I was proud of myself. I didn't react directly to this person. I slept on it And then I wrote a really empowered response, and it felt really good. And then I was able to completely let it go, and forgiveness came into the picture, and it feels totally fine now, totally neutral. Doesn't bother me at all. If you're really struggling with letting this go, finding forgiveness, finding relief with this, tune in to whether this is some kind of pattern. Tune into whether this feeling feels familiar, if it goes back a long way. And if you're tired of that pattern, then I would love to see you, because that's the kind of work I do. If it's like a long pattern and we want that someone's ready to change, you have to be ready to change it. Then we can do some really great work together. If you were able to shift this and you have like a whole new perspective and you're feeling great and you're ready to take inspired action, please post that in the Facebook group. I would love to hear from you. And if you want to shift this and weren't able to do it on this video, and you're realizing it goes back quite a ways, please contact me for a consultation. I would love to talk with you. All right, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video or in the Facebook group.